Infamous, oh, infamous. How I would sell my own left nut for another game focusing on Cole McGrath. And that's honestly, truly how I feel, right? I fell in love with this game series since the first game and how groundbreaking it felt when playing it for the first time when I was just a young lad on the PS3. It's crazy because at the same time we had Resistance, Army of Two, Red Faction Guerrilla, motherfucking Killzone, and many more baller ass games in that era. But when Infamous 2 dropped, it was just so incredible. Improved everything from the first, and it was just so fucking badass. Either light side or bad side, it doesn't matter. You were just having fun. You were blowing shit up. You were doing so much crazy stuff. The story actually improved, pretty good shit. And, you know, along with the DLC Festival of Blood, I played that multiple times. I know a lot of people forget that's a DLC for Infamous 2. It was fucking great. And, you know, it was just cool as fuck just to play overall in general. But this overall series is just amazing. You guys remember traversing the train tracks for the first time, riding those motherfuckers across town, and just having a good fucking time, slinging around, using ice for the first time where you can mix powers with, I forget her name. I think it was You or some shit. Yo, maybe? I don't remember her name. But, you know, it was cool. It was cool as fuck at the same time. The classic floating, you know, just in general, just a traversal of the city was just amazing as fuck just to do. Plus, in the second game, we got the fucking amp in the game. Like, holy fuck! Like, thanks Zeke. Like, fucking sick. Don't fully forgive you. Like, for all the shit that happened in the first game. No, this is a big fucking step. that has been my entire like point of view ever since I played the second game, because I played the first game, of course, and the second game I knew the entire story between them. But you know, it was just cool. And yeah, the main villain for the second one being the Beast, even more badass, amazing villain, to be honest. Then we got Second Son. I won't say Second Son is a bad game. I won't really say it's that much of a downgrade, but the direction that it went, I don't think a lot of people really cared for or really liked, especially with all the gimmicks and stuff that they introduced in that game in particular. The comic style was replaced with the more, you know, like, you know, rebel graffiti style, which was okay, but I preferred the comic book style, right? The dynamic between your karma and everyone's reactions was lackluster in Second Son compared to Infamous 1 and 2. It didn't really fucking matter. It also didn't really help at some of the gameplays tied to like your remote due to the gimmick of the PlayStation 4 back at the time. Like, it was a fucking Wii remote for some reason. Like, you actually had to turn your controller like sideways and shake it to go ahead and graffiti on the wall and shit. Yeah, big question. How fast did that fucking trend end? I don't even remember. Like, I just remember it just being a thing and just dying out, which is which is like, I don't even remember what happened. Like, the whole thing just stopped. Like, video games in the PS4 era just stopped using that whole like mechanic and gimmick. It just in general, it was just kind of funny. In Second Son, no matter what side you're on, evil, bad, Reggie tells you that he loves you, right? Even though you do crazy ass shit, right? Trish goes fucking crazy on your ass, especially evil. When you're good, she sees that, you know, she was wrong for being an asshole to you, and like saying her, like, the last words of her death is basically saying that she's proud of you and everything. Compared to like when you're evil, she says she's basically just like talking shit to you, talking down to you, that you were a mistake. You could be using your powers for good, you know, actually making you feel bad, right? But yeah. Second Son had like a few varying scenes, but really nothing like special or spectacular, right? There wasn't really any incredibly emotional moments besides, I guess, Reggie's death. If you were like me, that really liked Reggie and like liked their dynamic. But again, it just like nothing here really propelled the game forward past Infamous 2, which is a big issue with what the game had. And it had a few issues, like, you know, what was his name? Delson. Yes. Barely remember Delson's name. I just remember Delson Road because of Infamous, right? But he's not Infamous to me. Cole McGrath is. Like, I could go ahead, I could be 60 years old and someone could mention Infamous to me. I'll be like, oh, you're talking about Cole McGrath? I'll be like, nothing. I'd be like comatose, nothing. Next thing you know, someone's talking about Infamous, like, oh yeah, you remember back in the day, like back in our day or some shit, this game called Infamous, and I would immediately wake up like real shit. Cole McGrath is that guy. I would just wake up out of my comatose state just to say that. But yeah, that's how much Cole McGrath is so synonymous with Infamous, and Delsin is just one of the protagonists of the game, right? So I feel that many people feel that Second Son was an okay game, but people didn't really vibe with the setting. They didn't really like the direction of where they made the world go with the DUP, especially after Cole saved the world from the beast and so on. The protagonist, Delsin, you know, he was all right. I just didn't. He just didn't feel as impactful as a protagonist like Cole, right? The only thing I liked was the relationship he had with his brother Reggie, and his death was sad, but you know, that still doesn't make Delsin like an incredibly good character. Like he is that moral gray area that he's just like that punk kid that could just do better, right? If he just applied himself, or he could just, you know, just lean back into his bullshit ways and just be a fucking asshole. Because like the entire time, Delsin, when he's evil, he's just a dickhead, right? He just does it because you know, not that he just wants to, but because he just wants to be an asshole, right? How Sucker Punch went from Cole's personality being evil or good, it was pretty interesting. But with Delsin, he's pretty childish, arrogant, you know, a bit stupid, has to be told what to do and so on. Like even Cole will go ahead and put in some ideas or do whatever he can to, like, you know, do stuff in the game, right? He will actually go ahead and participate in the conversations. But like Delsin's okay. I'm not truly trying to shit on him. I just don't think he's on par with Cole. Like Delsin, he is supposed to be like this guy who always borders on the side of chaos and reps freedom. But that's the problem. Cole was just some guy who was just given godlike powers in a dangerous city that he needed to navigate in, whether as a hero or a villain, to protect the people he loves. While in in Second Son, he's just coming to this city, he's just freeing it just because I guess he wants to. Like, oh man, these DUP guys that the developers made in this world are assholes, and they made them assholes. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop them and fight them and just have them be just the irrelevant enemies in the way, because that's just how they created the world, because they were just like that, right? The government and everything just made them like that with the story that they made, right? Which I don't really agree with. It made sense in Infamous 1 and 2 that there's gangs and organizations trying to take advantage of like this new like little like gold mine of power that people can take advantage of and stuff, especially like in the first one with like the Reapers like taking advantage and taking over this city that's been quarantined and trying to gain more power and a better life, upper hand, whatever, right? It made sense. So what happened? Sucker Punch tried something different, I suppose, right? Second Son helped premiere a lot of PS4's controller features and gimmicks, and it didn't really last long. Like come on, when was the last time you actually like towards the end of the PS4's lifespan, when it comes to games, right? When was the last game you saw that actually used their gimmicks like actually thoroughly, right? They also came out with a DLC with Fetch, which, you know, honestly, why? But I heard it was better than Second Son because they handled her powers better, because Delsin can only like use their powers in like a secondhand sort of way, I guess. I don't fucking know. I never played that DLC. I heard it was good, but I don't really care about a former drug addict that Delsin fucked. I don't really care. Most of the cast for Second Son is pretty for the most part. I mean, just honestly, Infamous 1 and 2's characters aren't incredibly fleshed out either, but they were likable. They were interesting and served the purpose besides just giving Delsin powers and finally showing up towards the end for the final fight and, you know, doing what needs to be done. Most people I talk to, and this is why I say I feel people say the game is okay, most people I talk to say that the game isn't bad. And it's okay that it's not bad, that it's okay. But it just didn't propel the story or game in a good direction. Maybe they thought they could do in like anthology sort of like deal in the world of Infamous, but that would mean creating whole new worlds and characters and so much that I feel Sucker Punch wasn't truly ready for, right? Sucker Punch just didn't have shit planned, I would assume, for Infamous to continue on after Delsin. Maybe they were just fucking tired of it. And I think honestly, in my honest opinion, Sony should go ahead and toss this franchise to a smaller studio to see what they can do with the series and bring it back and have nostalgia people like me most likely to pick it up, see what's up, see what they did, maybe reboot the first one, make it better. Most likely will make it worse. Who the fuck knows? So let's talk about the series, how the series would come back. Would you guys want it to come back? That's my first question. What are your ideas for the game if it does come back? If you could add ideas to it and make it better, propel it further than the first game or whatever, new game you're trying to add. Would you stick to the anthology idea, or would you go the route of Cole surviving, saving the world, and becoming a hero, and stuff going on afterwards, or him just becoming the Beast, become evil, and maybe having a whole different other character becoming a hero or villain to stop the Beast, aka Cole McGrath? So tell me your opinions, tell me your ideas about that. For me, I have an idea for Infamous where you have a created character with a few powers you can choose from, and it will be permanent for the entire game. Each one will allow you to maneuver through the world in different ways and fight in different ways as well, right? We can have, good old super strength, stamina, primarily similar to a whole game or prototype. Pyrokinesis, or just, fucking elemental control powers. Who the fuck knows? Whatever, right? The power to control light or darkness, whichever you prefer. I don't fucking care. Tech-based abilities, magnetism, gravity. You get the gist. Whatever the fuck, that is your fancy. Whatever, right? It could be cool. I would create a whole new city for the world of Infamous where it's post Cole McGrath's death, and people are using their powers for good, evil, a mix, while humans are trying to find a place in this new world they're in, which can make them dangerous, right? Even the government is, has sides and are picking sides, and things are happening, right? Which plays into the whole karma idea, which I think should be the main focus, right? It would be really fucking cool if you, a new conduit, who has been living in the city where heroes and villains have been at odds for some time now, with no end in sight. The heroes have been working with, most of the government and police, while the villains have been working with gangs, terrorists, and maybe some shady people in the government for their own benefit, and are at war with each other to control the city, right? Sort of similar to the first game. Of course, the heroes have their own splintered groups with their own agendas, just like the villains, where not one side is, completely united. It's up to you to choose a side or stay in it for yourself and choose to create your own path, whether it's alone or with allies that also skirt the lines of good and evil. Honestly, how you would classify different groups can be really easy. They can be chaotic evil to lawful good, chaotic good, etc., etc. The bullshit, right? It's that easy, but I do think if a game were to be like this, it would be a lot of fucking work to be put in. Don't know. I just don't know. I think the whole event of Cole's death goes and activates plenty of conduits in the world would be more than just fucking chaos that the government's trying to control. Everyone's turning on conduits. All the conduits aren't doing anything. They might be fighting back, whatever, but they're just getting shit on by humans. And some lone woman who has concrete powers just sort of changes sides, and suddenly is now the savior of the conduits or whatever the fuck. The world has a mix of good and bad people. So why did Sucker Punch just choose this route of, oh, we're just fighting humans and we're oppressed again story again, right? I don't know why. It's kind of baffling to me. They could have done a whole different, really cool direction, similar to mine, maybe completely different. Who the fuck knows? But I would have loved to be able to interact with NPCs more. My favorite mission in Infamous 1 and 2, I'm pretty sure it was 2, maybe, I'm pretty sure, because it was with that, no, I think it was 1, where we had to go ahead and fight back against the cleaners. I'm pretty sure it was 1. And the cleaners were trying to get their boss back, the big old psychic dude or whatever. And you were basically the reinforcements for the cops, or whatever, right? That's what I like. I like being a superhero in these games and helping out the NPCs and doing stuff, right? Because it makes it feel more immersive that you're actually engaging and helping the people out in the game, not just, healing them and maybe kicking them on the ground or killing them on the ground or whatever, right? For bullshit ass karma points. I like actually doing stuff, right? That's why people love the fucking Spider-Man games, especially Spider-Man 1, when you're just helping out the police take down some guys, some gang members and stuff. They kind of took that out in the second one, I'm pretty sure. Now that I think about it. That's what I loved about the first one. You can just help out the cops. You can do whatever you want. It's really nice. It's really nice. But that's what I would really like in Infamous. A new game, a remake of the first one. Don't know. I would really like to be able to interact with NPCs and help them out, or, make them fear me enough to work for me, right? I mean, the world is my fucking oyster at that point with Infamous. Imagine you roll up on some heroes and villains fighting with their respective, human allies, and you can choose a side to pick. Hell, if the problem is giving too many mobs different powers, do what Augustine did. Just have them copy each other's powers with some bullshit ass machine and have it be a little bit more difficult. Just do something like that, for fuck's sake. Give the excuse that the evil side has more numbers, so they have to do something similar to give humans like a sub power or some bullshit. Something to balance the scales of power between the two. And you are the person that will go ahead and put it in a direction, whether it's good or bad, or maybe just in the middle, to make it change the fate of everything. Who the fuck knows? It's a hero villain super game, right? Superhero game. Hell, do it for the good side too. I don't fucking care, right? But we all know that prime conduits are the bigger threat than any human with copied powers. So yeah, overall, the focus will be the conduits and the humans with the most, quote unquote power, their own individual power, instead of actual powers like the conduits and stuff. So it would be really interesting to see the dynamic between all that, right? Let's see. How about a game with Evil Cole as the Beast, and he becomes the new antagonist, and you would have to try and stop him. I think that would be a cool way to make another game, another What If game potentially. But I'm just not going to fault Sucker Punch. Honestly, I'm not going to fault Sucker Punch for not looking clear into the future, what they could do and all this other shit, different directions they could take. Because maybe they were tired of the universe. Maybe they wanted to do something different. And they have done something amazing with Ghost of Tsushima. And 6 years later, I don't even know about my script right now. And later on, we're gonna get a game. I'm pretty sure it's 6 years later. Yeah, sure. I'll go along with my script. I made that shit when I was sleepy. We're gonna get a new Ghost game in 2025. So I can't really fault them for going ahead and, I wouldn't say giving up on the game, but sort of just letting it lie for right now. Do I think that they could have Sony pass the IP to another one of Sony's studios? Maybe something smaller, something they could use to maybe grow this studio up, see what they're made of, etc., etc. I think they could do that. They can just look at COD with Treyarch and Infinity Ward. We see them swap Call of Duty around two high schoolers swapping spit in the hallway. No issue, right? Why not with other IPs? That's what I believe, right? I honestly think that needs to happen more often, not especially with just one studio. I'm if one studio is tired of an IP, I think it's okay for them to sort of pass it on to a smaller studio potentially. With the okay of the overseer that owns all of them. Plus, when passing it along, they could just say it's an anthology route, or just say it's a whole entirely new universe based. Say I don't know, this is the the SinnerMan universe or whatever, right? But it's completely different from the 343 shit, right? We don't want a Halo situation with how 343 shit the bed with Halo when Bungie left, or wasn't in charge of Halo anymore. Had they made games focusing on different Spartans and not have numbered titles yet, I think they would have gotten their groove without touching you know, Mr. Master Chief, right? That's how I feel. But that's how I feel now after seeing all their fuck ups. Maybe I wouldn't have felt the same way if I really cared, if I really cared back then when everything was changing hands. But, you know, now I'm sitting here like, just give the IP to like other little smaller studios to focus on other Spartans and see what happens. Just see, come on, it's not gonna hurt you. It might lose you some money, but you guys have been losing money for a long fucking time now. Anyways, what do you guys think another Infamous game would look like if it isn't a remake? How would you make it? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. We just hit 600 subscribers. I think that's really fucking cool. Thank you so fucking much. I appreciate it so much. I honestly want to get to 1,000. I think that would be fucking sick. Again, just thank you guys so goddamn much, my friends. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically. See you guys later. Peace.